Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 88. Let's talk about takeaways. It's a daily post that I've written today for my clients, coming off the back of something I said. I shared a reel actually on Instagram that went a bit wild. I guess we could say it went a little bit viral with however many thousands of views, which is more than usual, 20,000 views. And it was just a daft thing about pizza. In fact, do you know what? Let's play it and I'll read it out. If you ate pizza last night and you're feeling bad about that this morning, remember, a pizza is just a hot, open cheese and tomato sandwich. Any stories you tell yourself about it being junk, crap, rubbish, bad, or unhealthy are made up. God, I made so many typos in this. By you. And if you decide to sabotage yourself today, it will be because of, another typo, your made up and untrue story. Eat the pizza, enjoy it, and get on with your life. Oh my God. I made a typo on nearly every single page of that. I'm cringing now that I've looked back at that. Fuck it, who cares? So I've done a daily post today talking about that after that reel at the weekend, where I've used a few examples, right? What is a pizza, right? A pizza is bread, cheese, and tomatoes. Yes, there's more to it than that, but not much more to it than that. So why do we get so upset about eating a pizza? Why do we think that we've done something bad? Why do we think that if we have pizza on a Friday night, we've ruined something and we then have to continue ruining it all weekend by sabotaging ourselves, by eating all the other list of foods that we put on the same list as a takeaway? I don't want to ruin takeaways for you, but we need to bring them down a peg or two. Like I kind of said in that reel, the reason that we get so hyped up about takeaways, and this applies to everything. If you've listened to any episodes where I talk about like a relationship with food or improving a relationship with food, you'll know that I always talk about putting things on a pedestal. And like I said in the last episode, like nobody is having weekend apple binges. Nobody's having weekend cherry tomato binges. We're doing it with very specific foods. We all have our own lists of what might be, well, I don't anymore, but most people have their own lists of foods that would be considered to be good or bad. And most of your foods will kind of overlap, but you'll all have your own ideas about what's really bad and what's not, and you'll react to that in various different ways. Like some people think a Chinese meal is the end of the world. Like, oh God, if I have a Chinese on Friday, I'm going to be eating like this all the way through until Monday morning. And it's ridiculous because what is a Chinese? For most people, it's chicken, rice, noodles, vegetables, and some kind of sauce. Like it's ingredients most people have in their kitchen. Yes, a couple of things that you might not have, but it's nothing to get hyped up about. The issues with takeaways are not found in the food itself. It starts with the pedestal that we place them on, right? As soon as you put something on a pedestal, you act differently around it. You change as a person. You know, chocolate is just chocolate. It's just a food. You should be able to eat a square of chocolate, enjoy it, and get on with your life. But if you think it's a bad food, it's unhealthy, it's junk, it's crap, it's rubbish, it's on that list, you have that square of chocolate and it makes you feel a certain way. And when you feel that way, that's when you start reacting. You start reacting to how you feel. So why is it that you don't have that Why is it you can eat an apple and get on with your life? Why can you eat a pear or a banana or some strawberries and, you know, oh God, I've just eaten some strawberries. I better follow that up by eating some fruit. And like, oh my God, I'm going to be eating fruit all weekend now, right through to Monday before I start over again. Sounds completely stupid when we do it from that angle. And yet, when we do it from the other direction, if I have a Chinese on a Friday, then I'm going to want to go out for a McDonald's breakfast tomorrow. Then I want to go to KFC for lunch. Then I'm going to get a pizza at night. And if I've done that on Saturday, then I might as well keep going all day Sunday. And then I'll start afresh on Monday. We only do it with very specific foods. And again, it all comes back to putting them on a pedestal. So let's bring takeaways down a few pegs to help you be able to actually enjoy them, because you're not enjoying them. If you're new to this concept, I made up this thing called the 3 parts of enjoyment. The 3 parts of enjoyment Part one is the build up. So let's stick with the takeaway example, right? It's for me, it's Thursday right now. No, it's Wednesday right now. Let's say I'm going to get a takeaway this weekend. Now, I might have decided, in fact, I won't. I'm going away for the weekend. I'm going to Alton Towers this weekend for the first time in a long time. But let's go back a few weekends ago where it was a Wednesday and I said to my wife, do you know what? I would really like to get a Three Little Pigs this weekend, which is they recently won an award, this takeaway in Falkirk. So I said to my wife, I would like to go and get a Three Little Pigs this weekend because the last time it was really good. I want to go back. I want to try something different off the menu. Why do I say it the weekend? For numerous reasons, but mostly it's a timing thing. Like I don't have the time during the week between working, looking after kids, especially during the summer holidays, my wife coming home from work, then we have to jump in the car, go into town, order it. Like there's not enough hours during the week for that. So it's easier to have these things at the weekend. It's not because, and this is a common thing, like people try to save these things up for the weekend. And once upon a time I would, like a takeaway would be something to use to justify or to reward a hard week at work, to celebrate the beginning of the weekend. Oh, Friday night, let's go get this, let's go get that. We used to do that. But now it's more like a convenience thing. So on Saturday, because it's a quieter day, we don't have anything on, we'll be able to drive into town, we'll get our Three Little Pigs, and then we'll go to the park and sit and eat it at the park and let the kids play and stuff. It's not realistic for me, but it's quite far away, that place. It's not realistic for me to do that during the week. So that's why we would save that for the weekend. So on the Wednesday, I said, let's get a Three Little Pigs this weekend. And you get to enjoy the build-up of that. You'll look at the menu. Okay, on Saturday night, I'm going to get that. You're getting that. Cool. So you're getting excited about it. You're looking forward to it. Great. That's part one of the enjoyment. Part two of the enjoyment is the thing itself. So the day has come. We went and got it. The kids are playing in the park. We're sat at the picnic table. We're eating the meal, enjoying it. It's great. Blah, blah, blah. That's part two. Part three, and this is the part that most people miss out on, is the ability to look back on it now and feel great about it. And in part three of the enjoyment is enjoying the aftermath, right? Enjoying what comes next. Are you able to look back on that experience and feel great about it? If you're not, then you're not fully enjoying it. You're missing out on part three of the enjoyment. So if you go on holiday, for example, and you looked forward to it, you had a great time while you were there, but you come back and regret how much weight you've gained, thinking about how much you overate, wishing you hadn't drank as much, then you've not fully enjoyed yourself. You've deprived yourself of the full enjoyment. If you go away for the weekend and again, you enjoy the build-up, you enjoyed your weekend away, but on Monday morning you're feeling terrible because you know you ate too much, drank too much, you're missing out on the full enjoyment. And it's the same for takeaways. I can remember when I used to get takeaways very regularly, 3-4 times a week. Back in the day, there were so many occasions where I would have gotten it for negative reasons. If you've listened to that episode, positive and negative takeaways. Positive takeaways is like the example I gave you. On a Wednesday, I said to my wife, let's get a takeaway for no reason other than because we wanted to get it. Positive reason, planned in advance. Then there are negative takeaways, which are reactive takeaways. I've had a tough day. I've had a tough week. I'm in a bad mood. The kids are stressing me out. Let's get a takeaway. Negative takeaways usually leave you feeling even worse afterwards. So I've had many takeaways in the past where I've ordered it for negative reasons. You know, I can't be arsed cooking. I'm too tired. I've had a tough day, blah, blah, blah. And then you have it. And once you've eaten it, it's like, why did I just fucking eat that? Why did I eat that? I didn't even enjoy it. It was too much. I didn't need it. We had stuff in the fridge we could have cooked and all those negative thoughts come in. Again, that's missing out on that third part of enjoyment. And that's what happens to a lot of people with takeaways. Not because of the takeaway itself, but because of how we think about them, the pedestal that we put them on, the picture that we paint of them. So what is, let's coming back to the example that I gave, right? A pizza. I got a pizza on Friday night from a local place purely because my son loves it and he used to love pizza and he's a very fussy eater and he's very difficult, but he loves this pizza from this place. So I was like, great, Friday we'll get a pizza. And when I was having, that's where that video came from in that reel. What is a pizza? What is a margarita pizza? It is bread, dough, with a tomato base, with a few extra ingredients in it, and then cheese on top. That's it. When you break it down, a pizza is a hot open cheese and tomato sandwich. And why are we getting in an absolute twist about these things, right? The problem does not lie in the pizza. The pizza isn't the problem. The problem is the way that we think about it, the way that we act around it. Because we don't just have the pizza and get on with our lives. We eat the whole pizza, or we get a pizza to ourselves, or we leave it on the kitchen worktop and keep going back to it through the night, or we save it to have for breakfast the next day, or we've ordered it from Domino's and we've not just got a pizza, we've got 2 pizzas plus 2 sides plus a dessert. So, like I said, the bread and cheese and tomatoes is not the problem. These are all ingredients that many of you will have in your fridge right now. But when we convert it into a pizza, and the attachments that we create in our mind, the pedestal that we place it on, that's when we start to think differently about it. That's when we start to feel differently about it. And that's when we start to react negatively to it. And like I said, with the Chinese, like, what is Chinese food? It is rice or noodles, maybe some egg in there, some sesame oil, and then meat of your choice, usually chicken, some vegetables, some spices, and a sauce. That's it. Stuff that you'll have 70% of those ingredients in your kitchen right now. But position it as a Chinese takeaway and all hell breaks loose. Not because of the food, because they are it's just basic, simple ingredients combined together. But put it in the form of a Chinese takeaway, and your thoughts and feelings around Chinese takeaways is what makes that a different meal. It's what makes you think differently, react differently. There is no reason why you cannot enjoy a takeaway within the balance of your diet, right? And it's coming back to that balance thing again. Should you eat takeaways 3, 4, 5 times a week? Probably not, especially if you're going to be ordering things like Chinese food, pizzas, kebabs, etc. But when you're fitting it in within the balance of your diet and you have a well-balanced diet elsewhere, and the takeaway is acting as a contribution to your diet, it's not detracting from it because you already have a nutritionally poor diet, then absolutely they should be a part of your diet. I probably eat a takeaway once, not once every single week, but almost once a week, right? So Gusto now allow you to order 5 meals. So that's great because it means that my dinners are sorted from Monday to Friday now. Usually before you would only get 4 meals for a family of 4. They would end on a Thursday. Then I would have to do more thinking, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But now it's like Gusto, Monday to Friday, usually a takeaway on Saturday. And because I'm kind to my wife and she loves a roast chicken dinner, I will try and make one of those on a Sunday for us. So generally, a Saturday would be our takeaway day, mostly because of the timing thing at the weekend, right? There's more time to kind of be, rather than just ordering, people will have a Saturday night takeaway and it'll be like from the same place that's 5 minutes from their house and they'll just pick something different from the menu. I like to kind of go farther afield and try different things. So Saturday offers more time and freedom and flexibility to do that, not just because Saturday's Saturday night. Anyway, takeaways. They are not a negative thing. They are not doing anything wrong. There is nothing wrong with eating that food. The only thing that's wrong is the way that you think about them. And I get it because I used to think the exact same. If I got a takeaway on a Friday night, that would be me. Well, I've already started eating like this, might as well keep going. And it was because I had that list. I had that list of junk food, crap, rubbish, etc. Pizzas were on it. Chinese food was on it. McDonald's was on it. So if you go and get a Chinese on Friday, then you're going to have McDonald's, you're going to have pizza, you're going to have all those foods that you wouldn't normally have during the week and have them all over a weekend so you can start again on Monday. And that's the reason that I was a 14.5 stone version of myself and struggled to get away from it, because that was part of, like I've spoken about many times recently, that was part of my 14.5 stone lifestyle. That was the 14.5 stone version of me. I am this weight because of various different reasons, but one of those reasons is my relationship with food, my relationship with takeaways, the way that I think about these things, the way that I react when I have these foods, the way that I sabotage myself for, now I realize, no reason whatsoever, because it was just bread, tomatoes, and cheese, or rice, noodles, chicken, and vegetables. So yeah, it's not that I want to ruin takeaways for you. You should still enjoy them. You should still get excited about ordering them, but we need to bring them down off this pedestal, because it's placing them on that pedestal that is impairing your enjoyment. You know, if you in any shape or form feel bad after doing something, you're not enjoying it. It's the illusion of enjoyment. This is a great time of year for this topic because it comes up a lot. Like, I'll have people in my group who'll come to me and say, "Oh, I'm going on holiday. We're going to Spain for a week. Should I continue to track, or should I just go enjoy myself?" Now, I will pounce on that as a conversation, because that's very much, should I keep tracking and have a well-balanced diet, or should I just go overboard in the opposite direction? That's generally what people mean when they say enjoy myself. They just don't want to come out right and say it. So we pounce on that as a conversation topic, where it would be like, okay, well, by the way, I don't think anybody should track on holiday. If you really, really, really want to, and you have a very specific goal, then fill your boots. But at the same time, by not tracking doesn't mean that you've got a free license to go and, overeat. But that's a great talking point. Like, because if that person goes away and does whatever they think enjoying themselves means, for most people, it will be, there'll be a way all-inclusive. It will be eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, hitting the snack bar in between, and, drinking beer from the minute the bar opens every single day. Now, you might think that you're enjoying yourself, but when you come back tired, sluggish, bloated, 10 pounds heavier than you were 7 days ago, regretting your choices, regretting your decisions, wishing you'd acted differently, and people get this big thing, well, I work hard for my week in the sun, so I'm going to do this. But if you come back and you in any way, shape, or form feel bad about the way that you've eaten, the way that you've drank, the things, the way that you've treated your health, what you've done to your weight, if you feel bad about that and you're filled with regret and you wish you'd done things differently, then you've not enjoyed yourself at all. You've fallen into the trap of the illusion of what enjoyment's supposed to be like. This idea that we go on holiday to eat and drink to excess, who does that help? Helps the bars, it helps the restaurants. Like, they love that. They want people to go on holiday and eat and drink to excess because they make lots of money. You're the one that then has to go home and deal with the aftermath, the guilt, the regret, all the rest of it. So it's not just about getting to a place where you don't feel guilty or regret these choices. It's also bringing those choices into alignment with the way that you want to be. Like, and we're not going to touch on that on this episode, but if you are someone going on holiday and you want any advice around, the full enjoyment, the way I look at it is, let's say you're coming back from holiday on a Monday, right? So you're flying out whenever, you're going away for 7 days, you're coming back on a Monday. On Monday, the 29th of July, I want to be able to wake up in my own bed, think back to the last 7 days of my holiday, and here is what I want to be able to say. Okay, and whatever your list of things is, right? For me to enjoy this holiday, when I wake up on that Monday, I want to be able to say this, 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 and this, because if I can say those things, then I know that I will have enjoyed myself. And then you bring that back to the here and now and say, right, what do I need to do over the next 7 days to make sure that when I do come back and wake up in my own bed on Monday morning, I can say that, and that. And all you do is just bring your actions into alignment with that version of reality. I'm going to not go on holiday. It's not about restriction. It's not about I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. It's, here is what I want to be able to say on Monday. Therefore, here is how I want to act on my holiday. And that's how you do it. That way, when you wake up on that Monday, you can think back to your holiday and go, do you know what? That was a fucking brilliant holiday because I didn't do what I usually do. I didn't just say I'll worry about it when I get back. I didn't just sack it all off at the airport before we even got on the plane and wrote the whole holiday off. I did this, I did this, I did this. And the thing that I hear from most people that approach things that way is that they went and had the best holiday they've ever had. Anyway, topic for another time. Until next time.